Got this clip, Aero Studio Man posts from Vivek Ramaswamy, actually. And we'll just jump to, okay, so I don't know, whatever. Oh, he's tagged Vivek Ramaswamy, sorry. He says, Vivek shows a masterclass on how to win arguments with the youth while imparting knowledge. Charlie Kirk does a good job with these events. I think Charlie's fantastic. Vivek plays the good cop so well. This young liberal woman shows up, and she wants to play this game where she insults Charlie Kirk, and she doesn't actually argue the points, and Vivek totally disarms her, asks her a real question, and then all of a sudden she is left flabbergasted. I got no beef with this young woman. I respect her wanting to come up and speak, but she's wrong about what she thinks. She doesn't understand what's really going on. She decided to step up because she's brave. Hopefully Vivek can show her the light. But I do want to give a shout out to Vivek Ramaswamy. This dude is the best we got right now in politics. You know, I'd have loved to have seen a Vivek VP, but I think JD Vance is a good choice. Let me play this video for you, and we'll break it down, and we'll react and talk about it.
Do you feel proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself? Hold on. You're 30 years old. We can agree you're 30 years old, right? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm a registered voter.
I vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Than a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
I'll say this right now. Already, her opening premise is nonsensical. And then she says, who are you? Because she's run out of things to say. She's brave, but she doesn't know what she's doing. And so respect for the bravery. Now, I'd push back. You know, I'd probably take a little bit more of a Vivek approach on this one. Although I don't think I'd ever be as good as Vivek at this. Vivek, dude, you are a master at this stuff. I mean, if I'm talking to this young woman and she says, you know, don't you think it's a little silly to come and talk to college students? You know, you're 30 years old. I'm 38. I just say, well, I think college students are exactly who we need to be talking to. You guys are going to be inheriting industry in the next several years. We want to make sure that you understand and are ready to do that. In fact, I think it's probably, I'd be honest, it's much less important for me as a 38-year-old to go and talk to other 38-year-olds or people who are older who already have had these experiences. You guys are stepping up to the plate right now, and we need you more than ever. So we're going to do our best to make sure you are the best versions of yourself you can be. Older generations impart knowledge to the younger generations. Next question. Let's play more.
Actually, when I first saw this ad, I thought it was like an improv comedy thing. It looked so ridiculous that I didn't even think it was real.
Okay.
Well, no, you could see. Look how popular Trump is on your campus. How does that make you feel?
You see, I feel like Charlie's a little antagonistic. I didn't just respond to it. What she said has no bearing on anything. My response to that is, oh, okay. Well, thank you for coming. You know, you can clearly see it's not. Maybe we'll do better on our posters next time. But did you have a question?
That's not comedy. That is a 5-alarm fire for Kamala Harris because she's probably going to lose Pennsylvania.
Bravo, Charlie.
But no, I just want to be clear. Is there something wrong with talking to voters?
No, there's nothing wrong with talking to voters.
Well, that's what we're doing here today. It's an open mic.
I think that you push a dangerous agenda.
Such as?
Excellent, Charlie. Excellent.
Your stance on abortion rights, for example.
Here we go.
Which is?
Okay, so
let me ask a question. What is your name?
Jean.
Jean. And what is your understanding of the current Republican Party's stance on federal intervention in abortion?
Vivek.
Well, I know that they want to bring it back to the states, right?
So it sounds like you do know that the Republican Party's current stance on abortion is they're against a federal ban on abortion.
I do understand that,
and we're talking about a presidential election as the
Yes.
important election that we're talking about here.
I understand that, yes.
Great. So, again, I think this open dialogue is great. I think it's great you're here challenging Charlie, and I think it's great that he's willing to travel campuses across this country to talk to the next generation. We need more conversation. Now, where's the disagreement, though, on content? Because you could criticize style or why you're talking to people or dunk on someone personally, but where do you actually disagree with the substance?
With the way that you edit content and specifically frame it so that people look bad talking to you.
She agrees with that?
The way that you edit your content.
we post unedited content.
Let me just ask you one thing though, because you could personal.
The video's
insults
unedited,
can
by the
fly
way.
in all directions. Where is an area where you have a disagreement with the conservative movement, with Donald Trump, with Charlie Kirk, perhaps with myself? I was a presidential candidate last year. I think we need to talk about that more in the open, and the more we do, the stronger our country is going to be. We got a long line of people, but I want to hear from you. One substantive area where you have an authentic disagreement, and I'd be glad to address it. I'm sure Charlie would too.
Just in
Anything.
political.
Relating to any political topic where you have a disagreement. Let's air it.
Okay. I disagree with some of the laws that are being pushed in Congress that are against the LGBTQ community
Which ones?
and the trans community.
Okay, so
Which
let's
bill?
talk about that. I'm going to give you my view, and then I want to hear yours.
Okay.
My view is that if you're a fully grown adult, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want, dress how you want, marry who you want if you want, if you're
Okay.
over the age of 18.
I agree.
But you are not free to indoctrinate children in schools who are not yet of the age of consent. You are not free, just as you're a 17-year-old or a 15-year-old can't get a tattoo on their own, I don't think that you should be able to go
Censorship.
until the age of 18.
So I'm going to pause there and just, I disagree a little bit with Vivek. I actually think you should be allowed to indoctrinate in schools. It just depends on the indoctrination. I have a moral tolerance for some ideas and not others. I think everybody does. Many Christian conservatives tolerate morally or more like, I mean tolerate in a flat, logical sense, but I should say this, want and promote biblical values. Many Christian conservatives want public schools to teach biblical values. They support those moral frameworks. I agree with most of the moral frameworks as well. My view is if a school has the 10 commandments in it, I am not a Christian. I don't care. The 10 commandments, I believe, are very good. Thou shalt not murder. Honor thy father and thy mother. Those things are all fine. In fact, we even had a discussion about, no false idols and things like this. And I'm like, I think those are all fine. None of them tell a person to self-harm, nor are they direct demands to be a Christian. If there were 10 commandments in schools, the net negative is nothing, literally nothing. It's only net positive. You might not like Christianity, fine, whatever, but they're still positive messages. The indoctrination towards the gender ideology promotes self-harm. That's bad. I do not tolerate that. I think there is some indoctrination. It's just about what moral framework is a positive, beneficial to life indoctrination. But we'll continue.
And so the lines that I draw here is that men are free to claim to be women and swim in swimming pools. You're not free to claim trophies in a women's sports competition. You're not free to enter a women's locker room. You're not free to change a language, and you're not free to actually
He's completely
indoctrinate our
right.
children who are under the age of 5 in schools. Do we agree on the fact that adults should be able to live freely while still treating children differently? If so, we're on the same side of this issue.
Listen, I agree with the majority of what you said. However, I don't think that you're understanding the implications of the laws that are trying to be passed.
I absolutely find it absurd that this 20-something-year-old woman thinks that presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy doesn't understand the policies that he advocated for and spent tens of millions of dollars on. This is another issue of arrogance and narcissism. We need to teach pragmatism and stoicism and things like this. Young woman, it's okay not to know. And that's why the presentation should always be, can you explain to me your view of the full ramifications of these bills that are being proposed? Because I can argue the net negatives from insert bill will outweigh the moral positives you think you're going to obtain, but it's got to be done in a logically consistent manner. She's not doing that because she doesn't know what she's talking about.
Look, we got a head start in the conversation. We got a long line behind you. But my only ask is, forget the personal attacks or the stylistic attacks. Focus on substance. The more we debate that, the stronger we're going to be as a country. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I don't think you're focusing on substance, though. That's the issue.
Hold on. Look, he intentionally tried to provoke substance out of you. And you said, well, I'm worried about some laws Congress should pass. I have to ask, what laws are you talking about? Can you be specific?
I'm sorry, I'm very nervous. But
I want to pause real quick, too. She's nervous. I respect her for speaking. She should listen more. But a lot of people are attacking her because of a nip slip, and that is BS. Come on, guys.
This is what you do. This is what you do. You take people and you put them under the spotlight, and you.
Well, hold on. I didn't ask you to come up here. You voluntarily came to the front of the line. You didn't have to do that.
You're purposely antagonizing people on campus, asking
How?
people to come up by spreading your weird agenda.
How?
Well, I want to pause there too, and look, I'll give some criticism on the right. It's called the "You're Being Brainwashed" tour. Me, I don't play that game. I would never do that. Maybe that's why you guys like watching my show, but more people like watching Charlie Kirk. He's got a bigger audience. TPUSA is way bigger. I think some people prefer that better. I'd love to do a college tour with IRL or some kind of show, but I wouldn't call it the "You're Being Brainwashed" tour. I'd call it something like, Steven Crowder originally had Real Conversations. He changed it to Change My Mind. I think Change My Mind is way, way better. Or something like Counterpoint, Point and Counterpoint, Debate, et cetera, et cetera.
What agenda is that? I'm confused, though.
So, Charlie, I'll say this. We'll end on this and we'll go to the next question. When I was 18, and I'm not going to blame you for this, I also took for granted a lot of the stuff that the media force-fed me, because that's what you know at the age of 18. You say there are some vague laws making their way through Congress that are hostile to trans community.
Know how?
I don't think those laws actually exist, but I don't blame you if that's what the cable media is feeding you. But let's get to the specifics, and then we're able to actually have an open dialogue. And that's one of the things I've learned over the last 20 years.
I think that the issue is we're getting our media from different sources, both.
No, you are. Timcast pulls up the New York Times and CNN and Reuters and NPR. We fact check that against other sources. We pull up the Federalist. We pull up the Daily Wire. We use conservative sources with a conservative perspective, and the majority of the articles we source are coming from corporate press. Because even though we know the corporate press lies relatively often, a good portion of the basic news reporting is fine. The political agenda stuff is where it gets messy. There is Galman amnesia, don't get me wrong. But the reality is liberals only listen to MSNBC and CNN. And I'm being somewhat facetious. Overwhelmingly, that is their source, 95+%. Independents and conservatives watch everything. Young lady, I can tell you that Donald Trump never called neo-Nazis very fine people. That is not a question of getting our media from different sources. That is a question of you being lied to and being wrong and Vivek being correct.
People are getting media from these skewed sources. The facts that you're presenting are not always correct.
And that's why we're here with no TV screens between us. So people who have policy-based substantive disagreements, we invite those. I think that's how we're going to get our country back. And as it relates to trans, which you brought up, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want. You're not free to force that onto somebody else, or especially kids. And if we agree on that, we make some progress. Thank you.
Disagreements, yeah.
I thought that was fantastic, and it's a great display of Vivek is really a master at this. Look, I'll wind this down by saying this. I get it. If you go out and say liberals are demons, the liberals are demons tour. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm saying literally. If you came out and said, like Democrats are destroying the nation tour, you're being brainwashed tour, it is antagonistic. I don't completely disagree with her. Now, Charlie's not being antagonistic when you arrive. That's your choice. You could certainly just say, I have a question. I've seen X, Y, and Z. I'm curious what you think about how that's going to manifest, because I personally feel otherwise. I want to hear your answer so I can provide my perspective. Charlie's going to say, here's what we want to do. Here's why we want to do it. He's going to be nice to you. He's going to let you ask your question. And then you can respond with, okay, so I read X, Y, and Z. What's your response to that? He's going to respond, and that's it. That's why, it's funny because you watch a lot of these videos with young people at colleges, and typically it's just conservatives being smart and college students being antagonistic. The college student comes up and just says, you're ugly, you're stupid, you have a weird agenda, blah, blah, blah. And then you get the conservative saying, well, actually, blah, 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 here's why, you're wrong, this, that, and otherwise. It's a forum by which conservatives can articulate their thoughts, but then also strike down individuals who don't have the capability to levy a proper response or debate. Now, you may say, that's not fair, Tim. You're saying that conservatives just want to debate college kids? Oh, I'm saying the liberals don't debate. You got a couple. Destiny wants to debate everybody. That's fine. He's a smart dude. I think he lies a lot. Sam Cedar wants to debate everybody, but he's kind of like WWE. He just wants political drama. The dude's obsessed with me. First it was Dave Rubin, now it's me. I mean, go talk about Dave Rubin, guy. I don't know. Talk about stuff that matters. But he doesn't because he's WWE. He wants politics. Many of these guys do. So don't get me wrong, they exist, but it's few and far between. I could go outside and throw a rock and I'm going to hit a conservative begging for a debate. I go outside, I'll throw a Frisbee in the air, I'll close my eyes, and then I'm going to hear 5 voices yell, I got it. It's conservatives who want to come on the show. We send out 24 messages to liberals being like, please come on the show. And they're like, yeah, nah, I ain't doing that. Why? It doesn't matter if they're a college student or otherwise. They can't stand up to scrutiny. But you know what? Here's my thoughts. The Culture War show. I actually think Friday's show was one of the better shows. It was very engaging. Jason Fick talking about Section 230 and these laws. Very good. The Culture War show, we are routinely trying to set up debates on issues, but these prominent liberals won't do it. Every conservative wants to come on, liberals won't. There's a small handful of conservatives who will do it all the time. Seems boring. I think maybe we just go up to WVU or something. Let's just bring Culture War to the college campus, which is 20 minutes away, and we'll set up the show there outside, and we'll have debates with people who want to have the debates. And I bet we could hit up WVU and be like, hey, we want to do this routine show. They'd probably be super excited for it. It's extremely woke, extremely liberal, but it's also in West Virginia. So let's bring the debate. I think that'll be fun. I think it'll be real fun. We'll aim for that with Culture War. We'll see what happens. But for everybody else, I'm going to wrap up here. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel. Head over to buycominghome.com, B-U-Y, cominghome.com, like purchase the song. Pre-order now on iTunes. New song's coming out this Friday, and it's about the destruction and failed policies that have ruined our cities and those who are coming home and saying, I will not stand for this anymore. Follow me on X at Timcast. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time. No Timcast IRL on the weekends, but I probably will be live tomorrow morning as well.